This is QTV Nightly News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Thank you for joining us. And a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio 103.3 FM. Here are the main news headlines. The 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development has officially begun in Yokohama, Japan, with several African heads of state and foreign ministers, with the Gambia's Vice President and Foreign Minister also in attendance. In another major crackdown on reckless driving, the Bruceby Magistrates Court has delivered a landmark ruling sentencing 5 drifters to prison with hard labor and imposing fines. At the commencement of a 2-day sectoral program committee meeting, the head of the ECOWAS mission to the Gambia, Maita Lily French, has commended the Gambia's commitment and contribution to promoting regional integration and advancement. The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations has unveiled a photo and video documentary exhibition showcasing the lived experiences, struggles and resilience of survivors of past human rights abuses under the former regime. In international news, a high-level 2-day dialogue is taking place in Nairobi, Kenya, positioning men at the forefront of efforts to advance gender equality and promote women's leadership. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay. Thank you for staying with us. This is QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. The 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development has officially begun in Yokohama, Japan, with several African heads of states and foreign ministers, with the Gambia's Vice President and Foreign Minister also in attendance. Yafa Tugay has the rest of that story.
The event got underway with a bold proposal from Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru to establish a new economic zone integrating Africa into the Indian Ocean region. The aim, stronger partnership, deeper collaboration. Representing the Gambia at the high-level summit is His Excellency Vice President Mohamed B.S. Jallow, who arrived in Japan at the head of the senior government delegation. On arrival, the Vice President was warmly received by members of the International Youth Fellowship. Setting the tone for a diplomatic mission focused on development, partnership and innovation. On the sidelines of the summit, the Gambia's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Serine Modunjai, held talks with his Japanese counterpart, Minister Iyawa Takeshi. The two ministers reaffirmed strong bilateral ties, shared democratic values and a joint commitment to international cooperation. Japan pledged continued support for the Gambia's food security through agricultural equipment and assistance, as well as aid for digitalizing education and introducing Japanese food preservation technology. Minister Njai welcomed these efforts, calling for more private investment in agriculture and health. At the TICAD 9 thematic session, Foreign Minister Iyawa emphasized the need for human security and Africa-led solutions in the face of complex challenges like climate change and conflict. Highlighting Africa's Agenda 2063 and the push to silence the guns, Japan reaffirmed its role as a committed development partner. For the Gambia, TICAD 9 is more than diplomacy. It's a platform for partnership, innovation and opportunity in a changing global landscape. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafa Tugay.
In another major crackdown on reckless driving, the Bruceby Magistrate Court has delivered a landmark ruling sentencing 5 drifters to prison with hard labor and imposing fines. More in this report based on a court reporting by Nicholas Bass of The Voice newspaper and narrated by Jordan Jai.
Today's judgment follows the sentencing of Malik Baji, a convicted drifter who on Tuesday received 3 years in prison with hard labor and was ordered to pay $1 million in compensation to the victim. The case stems from July 18, 2025 incident in which Baji, driving a Mercedes-Benz, was captured in a widely shared online footage recklessly speeding into a school zone in Abuko, where he struck and severely injured a 13-year-old student. The 5 drifters in this latest case were convicted at Bursubi Magistrates Court, presided over by Senior Magistrate Aissatou Jallow on Wednesday. Modou Martin Sanyang, convicted of unlicensed driving, was sentenced to a fine of $25,000 along with 3 years imprisonment with hard labor. Similarly, Sering Maske was ordered to pay a fine of $26,000 in addition to serving 6 years imprisonment with hard labor. The trial magistrate further sentenced Mohamed Ba to a $20,000 fine with a default term of 2 years imprisonment with hard labor, in addition to an extra fine of $25,000 accompanied by 3 more years of hard labor. Ismail Afal was ordered to pay a $25,000 fine with an additional 3 years imprisonment, or in default serve 2 years in prison with hard labor with $20,000 fine. Furthermore, Samba Sise, charged with reckless and dangerous driving, was ordered by Magistrate Jallow to pay a fine of $20,000 or in default serve 2 years imprisonment with hard labor. Momodou Martin Sanyang and Sering Maske, being juveniles, will serve their sentences at Joshua Prison. The presiding magistrate stated that the judgment will send a strong response to deter others from attempting to commit such an offense. The Gambia Police Force issued a statement in the wake of the sentencing, saying the Gambia Police Force emphasizes that reckless driving, drifting, and all forms of dangerous road behavior will not be tolerated. The force remains steadfast in its mission to enforce the law and protect the lives and property of the Gambian people. End of statement. The case details reveals that the convicts were part of a large convoy engaging in stunt driving in Jabang. Their actions brought traffic to a complete standstill, creating a chaotic scene that resulted in damage to several vehicles. For QTV News, I am Julde Ndiaye.
The head of the ECOWAS Commission to the Gambia, Maita Lily French, has commended the Gambia's commitment and contribution to promoting regional integration and advancement. She was speaking at the commencement of a 2-day sectoral program committee meeting organized by the ECOWAS in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Regional Integration. And Sumana Sonyasi has the rest of that.
The Sectoral Program Committee meeting is an annual convergence of stakeholders and development partners across various sectors, organized by ECOWAS and the Ministry of Trade to create a platform for knowledge and experience sharing, as well as updates on domestic ECOWAS-led development initiatives. It also aims to strengthen regional integration efforts and coordination between the ECOWAS Commission and the Gambia. As participants scrutinize reports from various institutions and give feedback on ongoing development efforts, the ECOWAS country representative, Maita Lily French, commends the Gambia for continuously playing a leading role in promoting development and peace in the region. She describes the country as a valuable partner in advancing ECOWAS's vision for a peaceful, integrated and prosperous West Africa, and emphasizes the significance of Wednesday's meeting, especially in ensuring the successful implementation of ongoing programs.
Gambia is relatively small. It's one of the smallest member countries, but a state is a state. It doesn't matter the size of the population, and therefore we try to give each state their due, and we hope that over the coming years ECOWAS is able to make more inputs into the Gambia and ensure that we build a stronger society and contribute to the development.
Ndeye Tabara Toure, Director of Regional Integration at the Ministry of Trade, Regional Integration and Employment, says in addition to providing updates on ongoing initiatives and identifying development gaps, the SPC meeting will provide a framework for policy makers as they look to harmonize ECOWAS regulations and standards, and implores participants to consult extensively as their recommendations will help provide a roadmap for the successful implementation of future development programs.
We are also excited to explore the emerging opportunities and address the challenges that may hinder our progress. By leveraging our collective expertise and resources, we can tackle these issues head-on and foster an environment of innovation and resilience.
For participants like Ibrahima D. Savage, Executive Secretary of the National Commission Against Proliferation of Small Arms and Light Weapons, and Sehu Samba, Executive Secretary of the National Bureau of the ECOWAS Brown Card Scheme, the SPC meeting is vital for coordinated regional response to crisis, strengthening security and facilitating the movement of people and goods in the region.
One key way of getting the meeting to support is to actually let them know what your challenges are. Of course, you have your gains. After talking about your benefits, the challenges is where you actually have, you need support so that they will know what you're doing, they will know what you need, they will know how to come in, not just financial or otherwise, but probably to share ideas, share information, you know.
As a participant of this meeting, it is intended to give a brief review on our activities, the developments so far, and what needs to be known about our work in general terms. Expectations are always narrow. At any point this committee meets, it is intended to review issues that are pertinent to your work and what the ECOWAS Commission or the ECOWAS National Office could be of help.
Over the next 2 days, participants will discuss, among other issues, regional investment, the ECOWAS trade policy, the WHO and the West Africa Health Organization support programs, as well as parliamentary and integration matters. Ansumane Sonyasi for KTV News.
From that story by Ansumane Sonyasi, we will now go for a short commercial break. And when we return, we have more national and international news stories. Do stay with us.
Supersonics Islamic Insurance, the Gambia's first digital insurance provider, brings innovation, convenience, and Sharia compliance to your doorstep. We offer a wide range of general insurance services, ensuring peace of mind and protection for what matters most. Whether at home, on the go, or in business, experience the difference with Supersonics Islamic Insurance Company Limited. Contact us today, +220-5132-319, 5132-318, or 5132-315. Email us info@supersonicsinsurance.com or on our website www.supersonicsinsurance.com or visit us at Bega Plaza 56 Liberation Avenue, Banjul.
Immunization is one of the safest and most effective public health interventions for preventing childhood diseases such as measles, tuberculosis, poliomyelitis, pneumonia, cervical cancer, tetanus, and many others. Vaccines are required at birth or immediately after birth within 24 hours. It is essential that infants, both girls and boys, get all recommended vaccines at the right time as scheduled on the infant welfare card. All children must be fully immunized, including differentially able children. Children must complete basic vaccinations within the first year of life and followed by boosters in their second year of life. Some vaccines require multiple doses for full protection. Parents and caregivers must take the infant welfare card every visit to the health facility. Please contact the nearest public health facility for any clarification on immunization services. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, UNICEF, Gavi, WHO, and other partners.
The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations has unveiled a photo and video documentary exhibition supported by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, showcasing the lived experiences, struggles and resilience of survivors of past human rights abuses under the former regime. Aissatou Barry tells us more.
The exhibition features a collection of photographs and video testimonies documenting the painful yet inspiring experiences of victims who suffered human rights abuses under the Jammeh regime. Through this initiative, the Center seeks to preserve history, foster national healing, and ensure that the stories of survivors remain central to the country's transitional justice process. The photo and video documentary serves not only as a remembrance of human rights violations, but also a tool for education and awareness, particularly for younger generations. Ida Person is the Special Advisor on Transitional Justice at the Ministry of Justice.
TRRC
The TRRC issued 263 recommendations, including reparations, memorialization, prosecutions and institutional reforms within the police, SIS and the judiciary. Many laws still need to be reformed. Implementing these recommendations is a complex and long-term process, and it will take years of continued effort.
Kebajom is the national coordinator at the Victim Center.
The documentary that we are launching today is a documentary that we took with the participation of 40 victims, comprising cases of enforced disappearance, extrajudicial killings, and other forms of human rights violations that occurred during the 22 years of dictatorship of Yahya Jammeh. And the main objective of the project was to honor and preserve the historical memories of victims relating to their trauma and the difficult things that they went through during the dictatorship.
Balo Seidikan, a victim of November 11, 1994, gave a statement on behalf of the victims.
The Victim Center has always shown care and support for us. They continue to remember us, reaching out to discuss the unfortunate incidents we have experienced. We thank Allah for everything and urge everyone to keep praying for him. At the same time, we wish to inform the Victim Center and other partners that we are facing many challenges, and we ask them to understand our situation and convey this message to the relevant authorities.
Supported by the UNDP, the project is part of a broader effort to strengthen human rights, promote accountability, and contribute to sustainable peace in the Gambia. This photo and video exhibition stands as both a tribute to the courage of victims and a call to action for societies to uphold justice and human dignity. As the Gambia continues its journey of healing and reform, such initiatives remain vital in ensuring that past violations are neither forgotten nor repeated. Aisa Tubari, QTV News.
Brilliant initiative there. Now on Tuesday, Farmer Said Bar, the controller of government vehicles, appeared before the Special Select Committee to discuss his role during and after the Jammeh regime and how government vehicles are utilized under his watch. Mam Nabuka has the rest of that story.
Appointed by the Office of the Inspector General of Police in August 2012, Farmer Seidiba has served as the controller of government vehicles for 13 years. Based at the State House since his appointment, Mr. Seidiba described the responsibilities of his unit to include supplying vehicles on request to various government ministries, departments and agencies, monitoring their use, issuing clearances for vehicles traveling outside of the Gambia, and providing driver's licenses for government officials and drivers, as well as number plates for newly acquired vehicles. Mr. Seidiba was asked to clarify how they distinguished and treated vehicles that were purchased for the government and those of the former President Yahya Jammeh.
To be honest, it is very difficult for me to differentiate the ones Jammeh bought as his own, because Jammeh will bring number of vehicles at the presidency and without involving my office. The ones that I know are the ones that pass through my hand. And the ones that are never to pass through my hand, I may not know.
Although his position allows him control over every government service vehicle, Mr. Seidiba stated that his department does not oversee all government vehicles. Institutions such as the National Assembly, the GRA, and NAWEC, among others, operate independently of his unit. Mr. Seidiba primarily has direct authority over vehicles stationed at the State House. However, for state functions or ceremonies that involve other departments, his office often gets formal requests to assist with transportation. The council asked him to explain how he ensures the proper use of government vehicles in such circumstances.
When we are less busy in office, I assign my team to go around to inspect vehicles that are being abused on the road. You go to Gimpex, you pass sometimes, you see a government vehicle, they are trying to load cement in. Intercepted. What are you doing? You want to put cement in our government vehicle? You see, most of the people, they put some woods on top of a Pajero or whatever. Then, those are abuse of government vehicles. Sometimes you go around and check. The person found driving that particular vehicle at the time will be the one subjected for query.
Mr. Seidiba was further asked to clarify whether an inventory exists covering the government's entire fleet of vehicles and how these records are maintained and updated.
We have all the documents related to vehicles inventory from all the ministries and departments. In every January, February, we have to write to all the MDAs and SOEs that are directly, agencies that are directly governed, for them to provide us an inventory. They provide us the hard copy, and we input it in the computer. And the hard copy that they provide, we just put it in their vehicle file, labeled as, for example, Minister of Justice.
The State House Vehicle Controller is scheduled to reappear before the Commission to provide further clarifications on the management and operations of government vehicles. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
From that story by Mam Nabuka, let's now take a look at news beyond our borders. A major dialogue is underway in Nairobi, Kenya, bringing men to the center of the fight for gender equality. Organized by International IDEA with support from the European Union and UN Women, the two-day meeting is challenging deeply rooted norms that limit women's participation in leadership. Aliu Sise reports from Kenya.
This dialogue on male engagement in gender equality brings together male leaders from politics, media and local government across West, East and Southern Africa. It is part of the EU-funded Women and Youth Democratic Engagement Initiative aimed at advancing women and youth leadership. Despite global progress, women still occupy less than a third of parliamentary seats, with leadership dominated by men. The Gambia is ranked among the lowest, with just 5 women out of 58 National Assembly members. Also, political structures saw men continue to occupy key positions, with women mostly reduced to mobilizers and supporters. Adama Musa, UN Women Deputy Director for East and Southern Africa Regional Office, and Graham Matenga, International Ideas Head of Programs for Africa and West Asia Regional Office, respectively, said this dialogue seeks to challenge stereotypes, dismantle patriarchal norms, and promote transformative masculinities that value respect and equality.
Social norms are one of the levers for change that have the most potential, but unsurprisingly, it is also one of the most difficult to shift. These unwritten rules shape who we, meaning our communities, societies, and even families, think belongs to leadership. They influence who has access to resources, time, and networks. They sadly also fuel violence and harness against women in politics, driving many out of public life.
Men continue to occupy most positions of power in politics, the economy, and the society at large. Without their active participation, transformation will remain incomplete. So this is a call to men. And I'm happy that the representation here, we are having representatives from country level to regional levels, and I think let's leverage this gathering as an opportunity to embrace kind of new energy around this call for action.
Henriette Geiger, Ambassador of the European Union to Kenya, says men must recognize themselves not just as stakeholders, but also as beneficiaries of gender equality.
Just want to tell you that European Union is very much into gender equality, not because only we know it's the right thing, it's also the correct value in terms of our humanity. I really want to encourage men to join the journey, which is also liberating men.
The meeting will produce actionable commitment that will translate into real change, into political participation and leadership across Africa and beyond. In February this year, a similar seminar was hosted in Nairobi for African media practitioners and journalists aimed at advancing transformative gender social norms. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Aliu Sise there reporting from Nairobi, Kenya. Before we end this news bulletin, let's recap our main headlines. The 10th Tokyo International Conference on African Development has officially begun in Japan, with several African heads of state and foreign ministers, including the Gambia's Vice President and Foreign Minister, also in attendance. In another major crackdown on reckless driving, the Brusubi Magistrates Court has delivered a landmark ruling sentencing 5 drifters to prison with hard labor and imposing fines. At the commencement of the 2-day sectoral program committee meeting, the head of the ECOWAS mission to the Gambia, Maite Lily French, has commended the Gambia's commitment and contribution to promoting regional integration and advancement. The Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations has unveiled a photo and video documentary exhibition showcasing the lived experiences, struggles, and resilience of survivors of past human rights abuses under the former regime. In international news, a high-level 2-day dialogue is taking place in Nairobi, Kenya, positioning men at the forefront of efforts to advance gender equality and promote women's leadership. That is all we have time for in this edition of QTV News. Join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thank you for watching.